We're on a vacation in the more southern parts of Sweden at some friend's place. Of course, I took the opportunity to bring some axes. I'm gonna help them cut down some trees. Can't sit still during the entire vacation, can I? This part of Sweden is known as Småland, or Smålandia, I think you call it in English. It's the main part of Sweden where people migrated from in the middle of the 19th century. And here behind me you can see the main reason why so many moved from these parts to America. There are a lot of rocks here in Småland. Somewhere behind this goat fence there's a broken birch tree I promised to help them take down. I'm not gonna bring the entire tote over the fence, I'm just gonna grab the axes I want to use. It's my new 3.3 pound that I think is a Hults Bruk. And a smaller one that I just hung that I haven't tried yet. It's also a Swedish axe. It's a Säter. Very elegantly make myself come over the fence. This is basically what all of Småland looked like before people started breaking ground and farming here. So during the misgrowth period in the middle of the 19th century, it's no wonder that almost all immigrants that went to America came from this area. No wonder you want to try something else when you get fed up with all the rocks. So if you know anybody, or perhaps you have Swedish ancestors yourself, it's a good chance they came from this area. Right, here we go. I'm gonna use the Säter axe to cut away some stuff around the tree first. It's hot and humid today. Yeah, this is what you deal with when you fell trees in Småland. But I recognize this from some areas back home anyway. I've cleared away most of the debris around the tree, so now I'm bringing out the felling axe. I'm gonna start the face cut. It's not easy to find a nice escape route in terrain like this, but since the tree is leaning quite a lot in that direction, and it's only half a tree really, since it has rotted and the strong winds of late have broken it in half, I'm not that worried that it will go in the wrong direction. I think it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be cushioned by some spruce trees behind it, but that's the best way to fell it anyway. ground is uneven and swampy as well. So it's not easy finding good places to put my feet either. Anyway, perhaps this face cut is enough. I'm gonna try a back cut now and see if it falls. Put the back cut a bit high. There is a significant amount of rot in it. Really hot and humid today. Well, this was one of the more tasking holiday activities I have done in a while. The temperatures are up, the humidity is up, the mosquitoes are out, the sun is coming down to this place where I'm working. I thought the tree felt a bit bouncy. I'm not sure if that's because it was already half dead because of the rot, or if I just think it's harder work because of the heat. And I didn't really line up my face and back cut properly, so I had to do a lot more cutting because of that. Anyway, it's down now. I'm gonna have to wait until later in the day when the sun sets a bit, because it's just way too hot to do this sort of work right now. Gonna enjoy my vacation, have a beer in the shade or something. Get back to the axes in the afternoon. It's later in the afternoon, the sun has gone down a little bit, not as insanely hot anymore, so I'm gonna give it another go on another tree or two. Well, my plan is to take down this leaning tree behind the rocks, but the sheep think I'm carrying food for them in my tote. I'm not sure how to do this in a good way. Oh. Okay, she's off now. Then I can do some felling. Hopefully. My Rinaldi normal, 1100 gram head, 90 centimeter handle. I've used it before. If you've been on my channel before, you've seen it. I'm gonna take down this tree with it. If I can get in here because of all branches. Guess I should have brought the bill hook. Får det gå. Så, kom igen. Hörru. Gå nu. Så. Måste det vara. Lots of sheep and lots of branches. And all these twigs that hang down, they come from branches that are too high up for me to reach safely with an axe. And they are really rubbery and tough. I can't break them, but I guess I can use a knife to get rid of some of them. Ah, insane. Now I have room enough to swing the axe for the back cut. My mistake on the birch was that I didn't mark on the other side of the trunk where the face cut was. So I'm doing that now. On this side, it's here. And on this side it's much lower, it's down here. So that gives me an idea where to put the back cut, just above those two. I guess it's going already. Pronounced lean and a deep face cut. Then you don't really need much of a back cut to drop it. Gonna cut it loose from the stump. This is a great example of how it should look when you line up your face and back cut and you switch between right and left hand grip. It is sloping quite a lot, and if you want to avoid that, I guess you have to sit down on your knees. But the slope matches. The face cut and the back cut, they are exactly in line with each other, and in between here there is a little bit of hinge wood, half an inch wide perhaps. You don't want to cut through that, you want to leave that and let the tree be guided by that when it falls. Otherwise it can go anywhere. So matching faces and the hinge wood, that's almost textbook, I would say. I don't know what species this tree was, but it was really tough. The branches were like rubber tubes, I couldn't break them. I'm leaving that now. There's one more tree I promised to take down. That's right, they have their own lake. And they have this. It's a salix. I'm not sure if it's a salix something in Latin, but it's not a good quality tree. Not good for firewood really, not good for lumber. Growing fast, rots easily, falls down. So why not give it a helping hand and make it fall quicker? For this tree, I'm gonna use my Rinaldi America 80 centimeter handle. I think the head is 1200 grams. So it's leaning right towards the camera, so I'm gonna put the face cut right here. bit more, perhaps. That's enough. Guess it's about time I move my tote, right? Not perfect, but he will come down, I hope. Not textbook, but it's down now. Ja, men det var den sista i alla fall. Det är så jäkla varmt. Har du något kvar i den? Jo.
Jag har börjat dricka därför vi kommer här. Precis.
That's goat food, in case you're wondering. Nothing goes to waste, right? Maybe I'll limb and buck the trunks a bit tomorrow, but for today we are finished. It's time for some dinner and a sauna. It's a new day. I'm gonna continue limbing and sectioning up the trunks of the 2 trees I felled yesterday. The broken birch I will just leave down in the bog. And I have some more information about the first of those 2 that I felled. Didn't know what it was yesterday. But now I know it's Prunus paldus, or bird cherry, or hackberry in English. It's called hägg in Swedish. It has historically been used for tool handles and also loops for barrels and buckets. So it's very flexible and tough. So I'm gonna harvest a couple of nice pieces from it and see if I can do something with it back home in the workshop. But first I'm gonna limb it and cut it up into manageable pieces. I'm bringing out the smaller of the 2 Swedish axes again. The axe from Säter. It is what Americans usually call a boy's axe, so I guess it's gonna be really good for limbing. I didn't try it out that much yesterday, so I'm gonna try it a bit more now. There was some thunder last night and some rain this morning, so it's much nicer out now. Decent temperatures. Not at all as humid and hot as yesterday. Perfect weather for this type of work, really. I'm gonna get rid of all these long, thin branches, twigs first. They make it really difficult to get close to the tree, as you remember from yesterday when I felled it. It's a really messy tree. Lots of long and entangled branches, and they just won't break either. They just bend and catch on to everything nearby. This sort of stuff. Quite a lot of work. to manage if you have a lot of them. You can't really feed to the goats either because it's a bit poisonous apparently. Now I'm gonna see if I can harvest some good pieces from the bottom portion of the log. There are large knots all the way up to here, or down to here I should say. So I'm gonna sever it here, and it's pretty straight and good to about here. So that's a good size for handles, I think, and I can get some longer stuff closer to the bottom. I'm gonna have to move it because of the rocks. Tough knots on this. I'm really glad I decided to try this Säter axe out before deciding whether to sell it or not. I think I'm gonna keep it. I think it's a really nice little chopper. Good length, good head weight, good thin blade geometry. Pretty wide bit as well, so yeah, it's good. It's a keeper. Bit more open ground. Let's see how much I want to take from this. I don't want to use the bottom part of the log, so I'm gonna cut it off. But the task was getting a bit hard for the Säter axe, so I will use the felling axe for that instead. two pretty decent pieces of bird cherry or hackberry, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna carry them out later, but first I'm gonna chop up the salix I felled down by the lake yesterday. Couldn't remember at the time, but now I remember you call it goat willow in English. So I guess it's pretty fitting to feed it to the goats. And I guess it could be a good thing to have a small coppice wood of that if you keep goats. Maybe that's why it has that name, I don't know. Right, let's go down to the lake. Jakob has already been here this morning and harvested all the branches and the leaves for the goats. I'm just gonna section up the trunk a little bit so it's easier to move if you want to cut it up into firewood or something, or just get it out of here. The Rinaldi axes are really good for these types of smaller size and more lightweight wood species, so I'm gonna start with the America again, the same one as I felled it with yesterday. I'm switching to the Rinaldi Normal, or Normal, or Normale, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, because I want a little bit more force, and the long handle gives me more force when the trunk gets wider. Switching to the Hults Bruk felling axe again, partially because I haven't tried it on this tree yet, and partially because again Urquhart asked me to compare the Swedish and the Italian axes. Well, I'm a little bit more used to the Italian blade profile, and because of that I tend to get more glances using the Scandinavian axes. But if I should compare this to my Rinaldi Normal, this is 400 grams heavier, and that makes a difference, so it's not really a fair comparison. On the other hand, the handle is 10 centimeters shorter. Oh well, they are different axes, I like them both. But sometimes it's good to have a little bit more weight in the head. It's a bit more work, of course, so it's a trade-off. I guess it depends on what you want to do, what sort of axe you need. That's as much vacation shopping I'm gonna do, I think. I got a bit tired there on the last cuts. I guess you saw that in the footage. So I'm leaving the rest of it to Jakob if he wants to cut it up further. I'm packing my axes into the tote, ready to end my vacation and go home and get some rest. Högslag. Eller där nere var det.